Welcome to Socially Sunday again. We haven't been here for 12 months. I think it's about 12 months to the day, really, since you were last speaking to us. So I'll hand over to you to do your stuff.
Thank you. So a lot has happened since then. God, where to begin? I mean, I suppose I should introduce myself. I'm Palestinian, one of the founding members of Greenwich Palestine Alliance, which we formed at the beginning of this brutal onslaught that the world is witnessing live stream for the first time in history, genocide of Palestinians. 56 of our own relatives have been slaughtered, more under attack in the West Bank, which I'll also get onto. I've just returned from there and the situation dire, horrific, beyond most descriptive words. But we formed this group with the intention of raising solidarity, awareness, education, and challenging the council, who our local authorities are complicit through the local government pension scheme, which is employees, deferred wages. Our council alone invests over £63 million, weapons, arms, and fueling the illegal occupation. So we are challenging them, asking them to divest all investments in Israel permanently and immediately. We're also challenging things like the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, which has been weaponized to silence our voices as Palestinians, suppress the voices of advocates of human rights, and conflate anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism, as well as designed to ultimately shield Israel, which is a racist, ethno-nationalist apartheid system and state that is now conducting a genocide. And we, apart from everything about it being completely unjust, or even on the grounds of equality, having such definitions in place, which are used to silence our voices, demonize us as we oppose the genocide, as we're seeing with the draconian measures taken out by government against activists who are taking direct, non-violent actions to try to prevent weapons going out committing these atrocities. And they are being classified now as terrorist organizations, yet the terrorists, the government who are supplying it, remain, without just complete impunity to it. So this is where we, as people, as workers, must take and reclaim that power and force them to stop, as we did with South Africa apartheid. And we must remind our councils as well about how they supported the boycott, divestment and sanctions, and workers, and even supporting the right to all oppressed people to the armed struggle. And this is so important. Under international law and the UN Charter, all oppressed and occupied people have that right. And we must defend that and defend the right to boycott them as well as speak up. Because if we don't, it's only a matter of time before those injustices will affect you and us. And they're already happening. So our very civil liberties are now at threat. We won't be able to speak and protest if we don't challenge these things, and how it will impact on workers, on our rights here, which is already happening. It sets such a dangerous precedent for us all. And when we're looking at the amount of money, we've got cuts here, things being axed, different types of benefits. When we look at that, we think how much they're investing in war crimes. Again, it's another direct impact where they could be investing local in the services, in the NHS, in our wages, and stop slashing monies. But no, again, this is our place to call and hold them to account, because we are all ultimately suppressed and affected by this, as well as having to see the biggest, most immoral injustice taking place in our lifetime, when we've seen clearly nothing has been learned from history. It's a colonial, oppressive, supremacist system that it needs to stop. And the only way I believe that is going to be possible is by workers' action. The governments are now turning the tables in speech, like, okay, yeah, we now condemn what's happening, yet here they go, the hypocrisy, the double standards, they're still sending out weapons. So we really, really need to make every effort we can to bring that to an end for all of us. So with Greenwich Palestine Alliance, the group we formed, we're working on this, we're working with union bodies, and now the Equality Officer and Palestine Officer for Unite, Greenwich, Lewisham and Bexley community. We have formulated several model resolutions, one for divestment, another one against the IHRA definition, including the Jerusalem Declaration. Anyone who wants to know more about those campaigns, please do get in touch. Another one challenging state repression, and most recently to mobilise workers and to encourage them to take that power by refusing to load, ship, handle any goods to and from Israel, which continues to fuel their war machine. But we do have that power to stop it. And this is what we're working tirelessly on. We have faced a lot of difficulty with the local authorities. As we've challenged them, there's been silencing tactics used, rejection of our requests even to meet many of them. They're aware, there are legal teams involved with us now. They're aware of the injustices taking place and their complicity in it. But even in them silencing us, they alter our questions to full council, reject our questions. They even dared remove the word Palestinian from my own question to them when I questioned them on the lack of equality and democracy when it came to the Palestinian residents and the Palestinian causes. Again, they preach equality, they're bound like most are by the Equalities Act, and here they are rejecting a question, using or misusing their constitution, which I've had to also start learning. A131 states that they can alter a question without removing the substance, yet the very substance of my question is the word Palestinian. It's the question of how they discriminate, they silence us and deny us the democracy. Because it's a system of prejudice. We've seen the double standards when it came to Ukraine. There have been flags raised, speeches made, even suggestions of support. Like when it comes to the Kafir, when anything with Palestine now, oh no, we can't do it. Oh no, we don't do politics. Oh, we don't do international issues, which is what their recent full council was about. And lots of people are silent. They don't know or realise or understand their rights or those acts of solidarity that we should be practicing, and we should use and utilise our rights to do that. So we did challenge them removing that word, and one of the other councillors actually agreed it was a breach of their own constitution. And we have been challenging, and we are pushing that. And those things, if they go unchallenged, again, it creates a far worse precedent to come. So we're pursuing on several different grounds. The most recent one, after I repeatedly requested meetings with both the leader of the council, then the deputy, ironically, the equalities officer, who actually refused to meet with me. Can you imagine an equalities officer refusing to meet with a Palestinian resident? Need I say any more? I mean, it's a grave concern. And we get these rejections after repeatedly asking. I even asked the mayor who suggested that I contact the equality officer with these concerns. And I explained to her, well, okay, I tried, and she's refused to meet. And there was lots of obfuscations trying to say I don't handle formal complaints. So I pinned her, no, I'm not asking you to accept a formal complaint. I'm asking simply, will you meet with me as a Palestinian resident? It's within your remit as the equalities officer to deal with the issues I'm putting forward to you. So with whatever is in your capacity to deal with it is what I'm asking you to meet with me. Of course, when you pin them and you're very clear, after several attempts at obfuscating, I got ignored. So that was my answer. Okay, you're going to direct,